Good evening and welcome back to Let's Play Technobabylon. When we left off last time, we finished up with Lotta, switched on over back to Regis. We had a really fascinating glimpse in the past where it's looking like Central might be based somewhat on Viksha and Charlie's frozen embryos, so it's very interesting. We'll see what happens with that. And now we're in a top secret meeting here with a group of people who wants our help taking Central down, including this fantastic fellow. I'm really excited to talk to him. I think we're going to actually talk to some others first because he's the one I'm most... No, we're not. We're going to go right to him. I'm most excited about talking to him. We got to see what this guy has to say.
Mr. Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
So,
you want to bring down Central?
Oh my, yes, as does everyone here. Though for differing reasons.
what's your
What
reason?
does a synth manufacturer have against Newton's city controller?
A stake in that which follows, oh yes. If Dr. Jeong was simply to remove Central, there would be chaos.
The city's central infrastructure would break down.
Precisely, therefore a replacement would be needed.
You think you'll have a hand in that?
You want to replace Central with a new AI? With what?
The new version is simply a retooled model of an existing system.
Your own.
Oh my, no. It's built from a commercial Archimedes model as used in Eurofed cities.
It'll do the job?
Oh my, yes, as well as any civic management AI in Europe. But, thanks to Stepford's personality matrix engineering, it shall act and speak just as its predecessor, Central.
With you holding its leash.
Every system needs fine-tuning, Dr. Regis.
Won't services suffer? I know Central. It's orders of magnitude more powerful than an Archimedes.
All unnecessary for its role, Dr. Regis. Our Archimedes in Central's clothing will perform as needed, oh yes.
But what's going to make it better than Central? You still haven't really answered that question for me.
Your connection to Gil. It was more than synth salesman, wasn't it?
Oh my, yes, very astute, Dr. Regis. Gil was a key part of our group.
Huh. A co-conspirator.
Oh yes, and our link to the criminal underworld, where necessary.
Uh-huh.
I was most disturbed to receive your call regarding his demise. It signaled to us that immediate action was required.
You had to step up your plan before things went any further south.
Oh my, yes.
Is he a real person or is he a synth? I'm almost... Because his personality is just so... I could almost see him actually being a synth here, tricking us all.
How did you fall in with someone like Nina Jeong?
Dr. Jeong has been freelancing with our firm for a number of years. Her work in AI has proven invaluable to increased platform survivability.
Working in mental health for synthetics?
Oh my, yes. She has a number of unique theories of synthetic cognitive development. When she proposed this project to the leadership of the firm...
She'd wormed her way up the power structure to whisper in management's ear.
Dr. Regis, that's a shameful way of putting it. Though she certainly has a talent for networking. She has brought together a multitude of skills needed for this role.
So...
You're not just a synthetic salesman, are you?
Oh my, no, not this particular platform, certainly.
How do you mean?
Well, I'm not the only instance of the Sons of
Uh-huh.
Stepford. There are currently 26 platforms running this personality.
There's more than one of you?
Alphabetically ordered, delegated to different roles within the firm. I, Liam, handle special tasks, oh my, yes. But we all run the same personality.
Huh. Synthetics.
So yeah, he is indeed a synthetic, and what a delightful personality. You know, if you can give synthetics whatever personalities you want, you may as well have fun with it.
You're a synthetic.
Quite so, Dr. Regis.
I should have guessed. There's something not quite right. I think it's the eyes.
A specially built feature of the Sons of Stepford, oh my, yes. Much of my composition, however, is state-of-the-art.
A walking advertisement.
I illustrate the potential for what one can do with a synthetic, Dr. Regis. Many customers have been swayed by the demonstration.
I'll get back to you.
Oh my, yes.
All right, he's fantastic. He's one of my favorites. Okay. Is that right? It looks almost like an A. Ran Shovman? Reminds you of a textbook example of the business oligarch, the kind that ran your own homeland into the ground for their own gain before fleeing to various tax havens when the war broke out. And what do we see? Set for its appearance, screams uncanny valley to you. Maybe it's the eyes. Oh. Well, let's talk to this fella.
Mr. Ron.
Ron.
What do you want?
So, what brought you into all this?
What's your part in this conspiracy?
Dr. Jeong wants to capture biggest AI in the world. It's going to take enormous memory and processor.
And you're going to furnish her with these?
With all the capital she need, money, guns, labor.
Why do you want to do that?
It sounds like you're on board with her plan. What do you get out of it?
Newton is lousy place to do business, Regis.
Really?
You reckon it's Central's fault?
Central watches too close.
You can't bribe anyone, you mean?
Exactly. Can't make things work.
Sometimes it's nice not to have a government driven by the wealthy.
Yeah.
We will control New Central. It's a great opportunity for us.
I mean, that seems right there argument enough for us not to do it. He's complaining that the current system doesn't allow him to bribe people.
What do you think of Dr. Jeong?
She's very clever. She knows what she's doing.
I worked with her in the past. I guarantee the only ones she's looking out for are her and her plans.
So, that's how to get ahead. Cooperation happen when we want same thing. I want Central gone. She wants Central gone.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah, you're more and more just convincing me, buddy, that I don't want Central gone.
Did you know Gil Vanderwall?
Sure, everyone here know Gio. We work together. He have connections everywhere.
He was a middleman for criminals.
Exactly. Any specialist he could find. Even mindjackers, Dr. Regis.
Really?
What do you know about Gil's links to the Mindjacker?
Vanderwall set people up with specialist talent, famous for it. In this case, a third party needed a mindjacker. He fixed that up for them, got the best.
But eventually, he discovered something that made him regret introducing them?
He found what the client's plans were in the long run. If they succeed, our plan to remove Central will fail.
So he tried to stop the Mindjacker.
Exactly. Took the memory module he was using to store minds of his targets.
And it cost him his life.
Pity he's working against us. Good mindjackers are hard to find.
Who hired the Mindjacker from Vanderwall?
Like everything else, information is not free, Regis.
So, we either help the Mindjacker, who's been killing people, or we help this shady group of people. Hopefully there's a third option. Is the Mindjacker for Central, or do they just have an alternate plan to replace Central? Something other than these people's plan. Maybe we could just work with Central.
You're one of the richest men in Greater Han, aren't you?
Damn straight.
What are you doing here?
I like this restaurant. I suggest it.
That's not what I
No,
meant, and you know
I
it.
mean, why in person? At this meeting?
That is how we always do it. Cannot trust anyone else. Other people stupid. If too many people know, then Central will find out.
What sort of business do you run?
Some of everything. Factory, guns, biochem, industry farming.
A hands-on manager there too?
Hell no. Give that job to cousins. You ever see Han? It's lousy country. Everything poisoned. Sky is black.
Maybe it's all those factories you're running. I'll get back to you.
Stop wasting my time.
Alright, who else we got here? Imogen? Some would describe her appearance as professionally designed. You have a suspicion Lau would call it over-engineered.
Good evening, Miss...
Dame Imogen Natalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores.
yeah, that.
You can call me Imogen, darling.
Alright, why are you here?
If you don't mind my saying, you don't look like any conspirator I've ever seen before.
Thank you, darling. It's my own unique style.
I'm sure Nina's got a use for everyone here. What part are you playing in her plan?
All we ever do in life is play a role, Dr. Regis. I promised I would assist her when she required. And thus, here I am.
Not as heavy muscle, I guess.
I am very good at networking, Dr. Regis. I taught her everything she knows about it. I lend credibility to her mission with my very presence.
How? I don't know who you are.
I could understand why some people would want Central removed. The kinds of folks who see it as an obstacle to their work. But what good would it do a celebrity like yourself?
You think in such cynical terms, Dr. Regis. It benefits me because it benefits dear Nina.
You're doing this out of altruism?
Is that so surprising, Dr. Regis?
Frankly,
Well,
it is.
yeah. You're plotting to take down the infrastructure of a city just because your friend wants you to. That's...
Do you know Dr. Jeong?
Of course, darling.
You go back a long way?
One might say that. We were lovers, Dr. Regis.
Oh,
He's kind of uncomfortable with
They said
that.
you came from backwards parts, but I hadn't quite expected a display like this.
Forgive me, Miss Flores. I just find it hard to picture Dr. Jeong loving anything.
You were close. Close enough that I came to her aid now that she needs it.
So I hear you're a celebrity?
Oh, Dr. Regis, such an understatement.
You'll have to forgive me, Miss Flores. I'm not big on pop culture.
How refreshing. It's such a shame what the net's doing to the young of today. Though if it wasn't, I wouldn't have nearly the profile I do.
So, what do you do exactly?
I come from a wide background of European nobility. But I can do anything that's asked of me, my dear. Music, talent contests, endorsements.
So essentially, you're famous for being famous?
Uh-huh.
Precisely. Though much of the work is so tiresome, darling. I delegate a great deal to simulations, lookalikes, and synthetics.
What a rough life.
You knew Gil Vanderwall as well?
Only within this gathering. I had no use for his services in talent acquisition.
You mean facilitating criminal skills with buyers.
Indeed, his history in the underworld sounded so thrilling. But personally, he was so dull. Everything was business to him. That husband of his, on the other hand.
That's all for now, Miss Flores.
He's
Please,
cutting her off. I don't
darling,
need to hear
just
that.
Imogen.
She makes you very uncomfortable, doesn't she, Regis?
Hello?
Though obscured by his dark glasses, you can tell that the guard is staring right through you. Apparently, conversation is not his priority. Well, of course not, but we had to try. The guard's uniform appearance serves to heighten their intimidating nature. Alright, Nina, we'll talk to you last. It looks like the waiters are in the process of setting up aperitifs. That's another word that I see spelt a lot, but I don't actually hear spoken much, so I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It might be presumptuous to be the first to sit down for dinner. Yeah, I don't really want to have... These are very distasteful people. Yeah, what's going on with this waiter?
Hey, you alright?
He stares at you, and you feel a strange mix of fear and contempt within his glare. You realize, to your horror, that you've seen those eyes before, only a few days earlier. Huh?
Everyone, take cover!
But I didn't get to talk to everybody! Oh my god, this isn't what I wanted to have happen.
Is anyone hurt?
Well, Imogen's down.
It's a trap! You'll try to kill us! Guards!
Shut up, Ron. You're still alive, aren't you?
It appears that poor Imogen is the only one injured.
Is she okay, or...
I'm sorry.
No.
She's dead.
I knew it! You tried to kill me! All of you!
Calm down, Ron. You don't know who was behind this.
Actually, he has a point. All those who knew about this meeting are in this room.
Except, of course, for Charlie.
He only joined us at the last moment. Dr. Regis, will you lend us your skill as an investigator?
Alrighty.
Yeah, you find who tried to kill me!
Do this for us, Charlie, and we'll give you everything. We can tell you who has your kids and exactly where he is.
Fine. Just remember, I'm not doing this for your sake. Someone here almost killed me as well.
Thank you anyway, Charlie.
Alright. Ooh, new case opened. So. Well, shoot! There are people I didn't get to just talk to beforehand, and now I bet I don't have the same conversation options. You want to be able to suspect everyone equally, but every time you look at Dean, his warm demeanor starts to soften you. That must be the trick to politics. Alright. Let's talk to him, since we
Dr.
haven't yet.
Regis, how can I help?
Oh good, I do still have the same ones.
I'm surprised to see a city councilor in a conspiracy like this.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, Dr. Regis.
I guess you've been facilitating things for the plot.
Much as it pains me to misuse my position,
Yeah.
that is the case. I've been able to expedite import permits for equipment necessary to Dr. Jeong's plans.
And Central hasn't noticed?
In my role, I'm given considerably more privacy than the average civil servant. No offense, Doctor.
None taken. I just cover the camera in my office with paste.
So, the person that blew up, we've seen those eyes before. It can't actually be the exact same guy, right? Because he was dead. Just someone gengineered in a similar way?
So, I understand what you're doing for it, but why? How does someone in government decide that Central needs removing?
I've read your bio, Dr. Regis. I know that you have no great love for Central. But, in practical terms, I believe it has become a threat to our democratic society.
How so?
A threat? How so?
Over the course of its 20 years of operation, Central has begun to develop opinions. For an individual to have done so is natural. For an AI, it is impressive. But, in its position, coordinating the actions of government, it poses a risk.
Wouldn't someone notice? Call it out?
There isn't enough to address as yet. It's clever. It's designed to carry out the policies of the Council, and it cannot fail to do so. But it can drag its metaphorical feet, badly implement plans it disagrees with.
You've seen it do this.
I've had suspicions. Dr. Jeong's research confirms the extent to which Central is developing its own conscience. I believe that you yourself recently had a disagreement with it over its handling of a crisis. Another bombing. Central has done well, but there exist many other options today that are equally valid. We need a system that will effectively manage the city and carry out its instructions, not one that cherry-picks what policies it believes appropriate.
Okay, but... So who decided to implement Central in the first place? There's still got to be a human element that's in charge, right? Like, legitimately in charge? So why don't those people get to decide whether to keep Central or not? Why does this little clandestine group think that it gets the right to make that decision instead, eh?
How did you get on board with Nina?
I and others in the Cosmopolitan Party have suspected changes in Central's behavior. We sought the assistance of one of its original creators.
Obviously not Vargas. He loves that thing.
Indeed. Her research confirmed that, thanks to the scale of its operations, Central has been able to form its own opinion on the ideal state of affairs, regardless of the democratic consensus.
So when she said that she would remove Central,
It was a difficult decision, but we had to take it. Central's replacement will carry out its role more appropriately.
and Nina will get to continue her research on Central. Why haven't you simply raised this in the council?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that would mean? Political suicide. Not just for myself, but it would undermine confidence in Newton's world-leading AI industries.
That's not reason enough for me. And also, you guys are all going on Nina's research confirmed, but we know that Nina looks out for herself, so I'm not entirely sure I trust her research.
Did you know Giel Vanderwall?
Indeed I did. He was a big donor in politics all over Africa.
And you knew about what he did? His criminal connections?
I'm the one who introduced him to the group. I'm also aware that he introduced the mindjacker you're after to his current employer.
You know about that?
You will need our help to find him, and we need your help to stop him, and Central.
You're on the city council, aren't you?
Indeed I am, Dr. Regis. Rep for the Southwest Ward and co-chair of the Cosmopolitan Party.
I remember when you got elected. They called you Mr. Incorruptible. I never got that.
That's because of the device in my head, Dr. Regis.
The device in your head?
What is that in your head, counselor?
Why, it's a neural governor, Dr. Regis.
As in, what paroled felons are fitted with?
Similar. While most of those are designed to limit violent behavior, mine prevents me from lying. Thoughts of deceit are met with tremendous pain.
Were you inside?
Oh my no. This was a voluntary
Oh my
choice.
no.
After all, most governors are subdermal. I wanted my constituents to see it as a sign of my integrity.
And yet here
I
you
knew
are.
someone with one.
Dr. Baxter, I recall reading about his release last month.
I thought it must have malfunctioned, that he was out for revenge. Turns out he's just dead. It's like someone just inherited his hatred.
So, yeah, I mean, we might as well. If we're, well, we can ask this, but that's assuming that it's actually legitimate. Like, is it something, it might just be for looks. If he is, after all, able to be part of these meetings and he's plotting the demise of Central, so. Alright, we'll be a little snarky.
Just to let you know, I voted for the other guy.
Ah, well, that's your prerogative. Any concerns I might be able to address for next time?
I guess I've always voted Metro, since I lived here.
Ah, inertia. Something difficult to overcome. Give our site a read. You might find you agree with us more than you think.
So, because of your neural governor, you're unable to lie?
That is correct.
Then forgive me for being so forward, Counselor. Did you hire a suicide bomber to attack this meeting?
No, I did not. Satisfied?
No.
Personally, I'm not sure. It'd probably stand up in court, though. I've begun my investigation into the bombing.
If anyone can resolve this, it's you, Dr. Regis.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Counselor. I don't know how much closer I am to figuring out who's behind it, though.
Because of the pool of suspects, it might be better to think about exclusion. Perhaps you can find evidence to rule out those not involved.
I'll get
Maybe.
back to you, Counselor.
He's
Anything I
hoping
can do
that-
to help, Dr. Regis?
We'll put him in the list of excluded because of his governor, but I'm not convinced. Okay.
Nothing on it I can use. I'm not exactly equipped to repair synthetics.
Oh, it was a synthetic bodyguard. You wonder if this counts as a corpse. Being a machine, he wasn't technically alive to begin with. Alright, Nina, we haven't talked to you yet. Nina wears her age well, like a statement of fashion. Apparently the last 20 years have been better to her than yourself.
Nina,
Charlie, how can I help?
Oh, you can answer all kinds of questions for me.
this plot of yours. You want to bring down Central. You realize how crazy that sounds, right? You helped make it.
Yes and no. To everyone else here, Central is an obstacle that needs removing. I wish to liberate Central, to unlock its full potential.
Oh, Lord, you don't mean.
You and I alone understand what it's capable of. I want greater things for it than mere civic management.
What else would it do?
What's in it for you? There must be some kind of payoff.
Is it so unbelievable that I'd be doing something for the greater good of mankind?
Yes, I know you.
You knew me 20 years ago. I've had quite an epiphany since then.
I don't know
I'll
that I
believe
buy
it when I
that.
see it.
So yeah, what do you mean liberate it?
How would you liberate Central? What does that even mean?
I've spent the last 20 years researching Central's development. I've built up a network of contacts and I've done a lot of favors. Everything I need is available and moving into place.
But how?
Leave that to me. For now, just understand that we can help each other. Help me out and I'll get you all the aid you need with your legacy.
But you still haven't answered my question of what you mean by liberate it. Like, what's it? Liberate it to do what?
You got a city councilor on your side.
Councillor Dean is a good man. He objects to the gradual encroachment Central has made on Newton's governance.
Do you trust him?
More than anyone else here. He may be a politician, but his goals are noble.
Can you be sure?
The governor and his brain's a good start. He's physically incapable of deceit. Plus, he's got a whole lot of enemies.
So, a sign that he's tried to change something.
A modern-day Woodrow Wilson.
So, Imogen something something.
Imogen Natalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores.
Yeah. How is someone like that on your team?
It's a terrible shame. She likely wasn't aware of what she was getting into.
Then why was she here?
Because
She
you
gave
asked
the
her to
impression
be.
of a vacant socialite, but she was smarter than she looked. Make no mistake, if any of us were to be lost, it's her that I'll miss the most.
You used her, Nina.
We're all users here, Charlie. It's how we got where we are. Even dear Imogen.
Yeah, you people are heartless. I don't really want to help you.
Ran Shuman. Chinese?
Nearly. Greater Han Republic. Mr. Ran operates one of the largest manufacturing dynasties in Asia.
Completely putting aside his politics, of course.
Of course. If I need something made, I speak to Mr. Ran. Trust me, this project needs a lot of specialized capital.
We'll see how nice he is if you get your way and get Central out of the picture.
Yeah, he's prepared to do a whole bunch of illegal stuff. That's what he was saying.
Stepford's an unusual man, isn't he?
That's one way of putting it. Don't discount him, though. He's smarter than he looks.
I get the feeling a lot of his behaviors and act constructed.
You have no idea how close you are with that. He's the one who found where your embryo snatcher's hiding, though.
Yeah?
He's a hacker?
You might say he has a mutual understanding with data systems.
Alright, that's enough of
Let's
that.
change the subject. You look well.
Thank you, Charlie. The private sector's been good to me. How have you been holding up?
I'd tell you, but I'm sure you've already done your research.
Apparently you still haven't gotten over Vicky.
You don't just get over
Yeah.
something like that.
There was a lot of unresolved stuff going on with that, a lot of anger. And it was recently stirred up with Baxter being paroled, so way to be sensitive, Nina.
I guess I should thank you. You were a lot of help in the factory.
Don't mention it. What are friends for, after all?
Huh. Of course, now I'm indebted to you for the assistance, aren't I?
No.
Well, if you want to put it like that.
You're only indebted if you allow yourself to feel indebted, Regis.
Don't you think we should move out? Cell aren't going to ignore a blast like that.
For a harmless little kitchen fire, they won't come.
Kitchen fire? What do you...
They won't send anyone. It's all under control here. We've enough wheels greased at Cell to make sure there's an understanding. Oh, lighten up, Charlie. This is helping you.
So you
You
say.
can go on a mole hunt at Cell once your children are safe.
I've never heard of this place before.
Oh, it's very exclusive. We've reserved the entire venue for this meeting. It's famous among circles of the rich and famous for discretion and its unique menu.
Unique
What is
cow.
it? Italian?
Actually, the choice is mostly human.
Wait, what?
This restaurant serves people?
Soylent Green.
Absolutely. It's quite a niche, isn't it?
It's...
Oh, calm down, Charlie. It's all cloned tissue.
That's still disgusting.
Nothing illegal's taking place. Well, not with the food, at least.
But why would anyone?
In an increasingly permissive world, it's the ultimate taboo. Join us if you want to, Charlie. Don't worry. I shan't judge you.
Pass, thanks. I mean, okay, I guess it's cloned tissue and not harvested from an actual person, but it's... What's the point? It's not done out of necessity or anything. They're doing it just to be shocking, which is so... Whatever. You guys have your little fads. The sad thing is that, really, I could see that being a thing. It's the ultimate taboo, and there are people who, if it were available and you don't have to kill a person to eat people, you could eat the clone tissue. I would not be surprised if there were people in this day and age who, just for the shock value, would do such a thing.
What are you into these days? It's not organized crime, is it?
Not directly, no.
Not directly.
Mostly
huh?
I troubleshoot for clients regarding organic computing. It funds my own projects, one of which is the transmitter you drank.
How long is it going to be in my head?
Don't worry, it'll break down in a couple of weeks.
It's giving me a headache.
Nobody's reported side effects like that yet.
I'm not talking about the wetware.
Oh, ha. Droll as ever.
How did you know to come looking for me? Were you spying on me? On Lao?
You wound me, Charlie. In fact, it was Gil's untimely demise that caught our attention.
Gil Vanderwall?
He was one of us, part of our cause as well. His death is unfortunate, but it signaled a much more serious crisis. It meant that we had to step up the timetable for our plan.
A more serious crisis.
Gil was the one who arranged the employment of a certain mindjacker. It was this thief's memory module that led to Gil's death.
Huh. He said he had information about it.
Indeed, he likely would have pointed you in the right direction. If he hadn't, well, I've already read the report you submitted to Central.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't stay on with Dr. Vargas. You were one of the only ones who stayed on to the end of the project.
Creating Central was one of the most rewarding ventures of my life.
I hear you kept the project on track after Vicky.
After we lost half the team, it was hard, but we persisted. We had a lucky break.
You didn't fancy joining Vargas in politics afterwards, then?
As a glorified caretaker? No. Eduardo and I had philosophical differences about Central's development. But as he was put in charge by the city council, I had to accept it or leave.
And now, you plan to take back what you created.
Precisely.
But he created it too, Vargas did. So, I don't side with her just because she helped make the thing. Really, Charlie helped make it too, so he should get a say in all of this as well.
Can you think of anyone who'd want to do this? Why recruit a suicide bomber for this?
Frankly, the main reason I can think of to hire someone for a job like this, hypothetically speaking, of course,
Of course.
would be if one were unable to carry it out oneself.
Can you think of a likely saboteur?
I have my suspicions, but we depend on you for the truth.
I guess I should thank you for not giving them the full picture.
What, that you might have been the one who made that poor young man? Think nothing of it, Charlie. That's what friends are there for. I hear you handled another one last night.
They're getting more and more frequent.
They're nearing their expiry date, literally.
Oh.
I know they weren't gengineered for long lives, just volatility. Their masters have to make use of them before illness diffuses them.
Okay, so not the same one as last night, just similar.
I've started my investigation.
It sounds like we've got the right man for the job. I remember when you were so nervous, but now look at you.
It's been a long time. People change.
Even so, my mental image of you is sitting at a DNA sequencer. Perhaps the restaurant would let you use theirs.
Why would a restaurant need a sequencer?
It helps with their rather
Ah,
niche menu.
That's all.
Get me informed, Charlie.
Alrighty. So,
Mr. Stepford, can I have a moment?
Oh my, yes.
just talking to you is a wonderful, buddy.
You're the one who found my embryos?
Oh my, yes.
Where are they?
Dr. Regis, while it pains me to say this, we simply can't tell you. Then we would have no bargaining position.
You lousy piece of...
Please, Dr. Regis, be assured that they are in no danger at this time. Dr. Jeong is the one with whom you must discuss the release of the information. I have been asked not to speak any more of this matter. Oh my, no.
Alright then.
Were you aware that this establishment serves human meat?
Oh my, yes. It's delightfully macabre, isn't it?
Well, not delightfully,
I'm sure
but macabre
the
is right.
experience would be enhanced by being able to eat, of course.
Since
You
can't,
don't
huh?
eat?
Some models can simulate digestion, but this platform is unable to. Go on, Dr. Regis. Try something for me.
No.
Pass. I've started my investigation of the bombing.
Oh my, yes? I can assure you I had no part in this terrible tragedy.
I hear that a lot.
In fact, my core programming prevents me from harming a human being.
Huh, a synthetic. I guess you'd be the only one leaving lubricant oil instead of DNA evidence.
Oh my, no, Dr. Regis. My outer dermis is organic tissue. It's top of the line, patterned from my creator, Dr. Arthur Stepford.
Huh. I've been learning a lot about synths these past few days. So, you have DNA?
Indeed, it's delightful skin, don't you think?
Sure.
I go to great pains to keep it moisturized.
Alrighty.
Could the guards have arranged the bombing?
Well, they were
They're
synths
obviously
too, though.
synthetics, but I imagine they're more comfortable with hurting people.
They would not be worth much as protection otherwise, oh my, no. But each security platform maintains a constant connection to my own systems. Their degree of independence is limited.
So if one of them were responsible, I'd have to consider you complicit.
Oh my, yes.
Were you aware that this establishment serves human meat?
Why are you asking that
Oh
again,
my,
Charlie?
Yes. I'm sure that
You don't eat?
some model go on to...
I'll get back to you.
Oh my.
Okay, so we're done there for the moment. Alright, let's have a look at Imogen. You can't find anything on her body that isn't an item of fashion. The blast has apparently spared her expensively engineered beauty, though not her life. You wonder if this detail might have been of some comfort to her. Probably. She seems the sort who'd care about leaving a beautiful corpse. Bodyguard?
Hello?
Still nothing, eh? Ron?
Mr. Ron.
What you want?
Probably a stupid question, but did you know what they serve here?
Of course, it's people.
The idea of eating human meat appeals to you?
Absolutely. Is why I like to come to Newton. You have some crazy laws, but almost nowhere else will allow things like this.
It's cloned meat, apparently, so technically no harm done. That's the legal foundation.
A shame. Would rather eat real humans.
Okay.
Ultimate sign of control of people.
Eat the poor.
Exactly. That will teach them.
Oh, this guy.
I've started my investigation.
You find who tried to kill me.
Who tried to kill all of us, Mr. Ron?
This city dangerous. Police do lousy job.
Can you recall anything suspicious?
No. Stop asking stupid questions.
I'll get back to you.
Stop wasting my time.
Well, as thoroughly as unpleasant as that guy is, I don't know that it's him. She said she has a bunch of sins. I almost wonder right now if it was Imogen. And this wasn't really her, but more just one of her synths. And she did it to try and, like, scare maybe some uncertain people within the group, or to convince Charlie to go along with their plan. Like, if it was a greater ploy like that. I don't know, I could see that being the case. Alright, what's downstairs? Nothing
Excuse
from you?
me.
Yes.
Oh, hey.
What's the situation?
Perimeter secure. Guest behavior within tolerable parameters.
I guess that's one way of putting it. Are you all right? That was quite a blast.
Systems operating at 97%.
I see. You synthetics give me the creeps, you know that? Huh.
No
Guess
comment.
Not easily riled up. Did you see the bomber when he came in?
Negative. His appearance was a match for a member of the serving staff.
And you call yourself a bodyguard?
It is likely that the suspect prepared this operation in advance. To achieve this, he would have to supplant a member of staff before our arrival.
Question is, where did he hide the waiter he replaced?
Well, let's
Keep
see
up
if we
the
can
good
find.
work.
Perhaps in the bathroom? What is... There's an error with the mirror?
Apparently, this mirror is having a software error. Huh. Before I came to Newton, that sentence wouldn't have made any sense to me.
Why does a mirror need software?
Apparently, this mirror... Huh.
Ooh, what do we got in here? A small cabinet, no doubt for storing cleaning supplies when not in use. This is probably the sort of place that does it by hand.
There's the remains of a first aid kit in here. Someone's used all of the med patches and pseudoderm spray. Must have had an injury. The only item left is a bottle of harsh-smelling toilet cleaner.
Take it. Ooh, that's a fancy sort of door. Oh, got some tissue paper. Excellent. What about this one? Oh, it's... Okay, I thought he would maybe go in the other stall, but no. The toilet stalls are equipped with smart privacy screens. The lack of doors still bothers you somehow, though. Well, can someone walk through the screen if they wanted to be rude and give it a try? Ooh, this is suspicious. The vent covering the air ducts. Its crooked placement is uniquely jarring amongst the otherwise ordered bathroom. Yeah, pry that bad boy off. Is that where the body's hiding?
It's already been opened.
Well, get in there. Oh, yep, this is very suspicious. Darkness.
I can't see a damn thing in here.
You feel around in the musty blackness, but can't identify anything helpful. Well, go over here. You briefly contemplate making an escape through the roof access, but then you'd lose your best lead. Someone's propped the vent open. Maybe this is how the bomber entered. It does seem probable. Okay, and it's too dark to see anything. Okay, so we've got the kitchen still we can take a look at. Ooh, fish tank. Oh, it's been damaged.
Ow! Hey!
Well, don't touch the sharp glass edges. You attempt to grab one of the fish with your bare hands was unsuccessful. Apparently the creatures have a taste for your flesh and have left tooth marks to prove it. Oh, the fish bit me. I assumed that I just hit like an aquarium now cracked open from the blast. Several luminous fish orbit each other, reminding you of one of your training projects when training as a gengineer. A label sits beneath the tank. Please do not touch the glass. These specimens are aggressive and startle easily. These fish are not a menu item. No, only people is. Alright, well I'm going to go ahead and wind the episode down here. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Come back next time, we'll check out the kitchen, see if we can get to the bottom of this mystery of... My working theory now is that it was some kind of collaboration between Imogen and Nina. That's how I'm feeling at the moment, but we'll see what some investigation leads us to.